Hey guys, I thought that today I would talk about the Fountainhead. Um, and oh my gosh, so today's the first day of spring break and we have 12 days off, well, including today. But I had to go to school today, but now I have off and I can stay up later at night and stuff tonight, so that's why I count today as part of it. And yeah, and then it's gonna be Easter soon, and then there's gonna be okay, anyway. And yeah, and I have English last period, so we were just watching the movie. We're not going to read the entire book because it's really long. We read part 1. Actually, I'm about 20 pages short of part 1, and then we're watching a bunch of the movie, and then I think we're going to end up reading part 4 after the break. The book is divided into 4 parts, so I think we're watching the movie for parts 2 and 3. But anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. Personally, I don't really like it. It's usually whenever I start out a book, I usually don't like it, but then it kind of grows on me, especially English books, because they always seem to have a really important message. I think the problem for me is that I just don't see a really important message in this. And also, as one guy in my English class said it better than I could, she needs to stop describing things. I messed up on the quote. She needs to stop describing things. She describes everything. It just I don't even know. I can't find any good examples, but she just describes what everyone looks like and everything, and her slender body seemed out of scale in relation to a normal human body. Its lines were so long, so fragile, so exaggerated that she looked like a stylized drawing of a woman and made the correct proportions of a normal being appear heavy and awkward. Beside her, she wore a plain gray suit. The contrast between its tailored severity and her appearance was deliberately exorbitant and strangely elegant. She let the fingertips of one hand rest on the railing, a narrow hand ending the straight, imperious line of her arm. She had gray eyes that were not ovals, but 2 long rectangular cuts edged by parallel lines of lashes. She had an air of cold serenity and an exquisitely vicious mouth. Her face, her pale gold hair, her suit seemed to have no color, but only a hint, just on the verge of the reality of color, making the full reality seem vulgar. Oh my god. Yeah, that's kind of what the whole book is. So it's kind of a little bit too much explaining to me, but I think maybe for people who are more literature, really bookies, I guess, is that a term? They kind of like that kind of stuff. I don't know. I guess I don't see a huge theme in it. The Great Gatsby, and Brave New World, which I talked about before, and other books, I see them as the ultimate anecdote for a certain idea, a certain theme, and they're sort of the ultimate one because other people know about it. Sometimes you can just talk to a random person about The Great Gatsby, and even if they don't know, it kind of, because the book is so famous, it is the anecdote, the story that shows a certain message. And so when you think about high society and the rich, you think of Daisy and Tom. I think her husband's name is Tom. You think of them, and Brave New World in 1984, when we have the term Big Brother, when people are talking about the Patriot Act and they're afraid of government surveillance, I think it's going too far. We have the phrase Big Brother that came from a place for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's our culture's choosing the story that goes with the theme, because themes justice, peace, loneliness, they're complicated things that are hard to explain. And okay, in this book, it's really just seems to be talking about kind of independence, which can be important, but I'm not so sure how so. The story mostly, spoilers, it mostly just covers Howard Rourke, and he is this architect who only wants to build buildings his way and doesn't want to change them at all. So it just causes some problems, and not that many people want to build his buildings, basically. And I think it's kind of a unique scenario, and the reason I think this is that other forms of art are somewhat different in architecture. So if you're a painter, you can paint all the paintings you want, and even if no one else ever sees them besides maybe your family, you can still paint the paintings you want the way you want to. If you're a writer, you can write books. Even if they don't get published, you can still write them. And just if you like a choreographer, you can choreograph dances and just dance them yourself. That one might be a little difficult if you're choreographed a dance with like multiple people and you don't have anyone to like do it out with, but maybe you could find some like friends who like to dance, or just, but like with architecture, it's like he's like really passionate about architecture, and that's kind of more difficult because you can't necessarily design a building and then go build it. That costs a ton of money, whereas writing a book or painting a painting doesn't really cost a ton of money. So it's kind of, I think it's a unique scenario, and because of that, I'm not sure how applicable it is to real life. So he wants to do his art the way he wants to do his art, but most other forms of art that I can think of, you can already do that, so it doesn't really present this problem where you want to express yourself through the art, but you can't because it costs $1 million. It's just kind of, and even like, if you like fashion a lot, you can buy clothes. That might be kind of hard if you're like poor, but you can still kind of hopefully like buy some like very like unique clothes that you like or whatever. You get the point. Architecture is just different. He can design the buildings, but that's not enough because he wants to see them like in real life because he's so passionate about architecture. He wants to finish it. And so I kind of see where it's going with that, and no one wants to buy his buildings, and he doesn't have the money to just make a building himself. But it's kind of like a unique scenario, and I feel like it's low battery. I feel like I feel like it doesn't necessarily apply to other things. So I don't really know. And then if there's anything like very well thematic about it, it might be the character of Peter Keating, because I think there is something interesting in Peter Keating. Peter Keating is basically the character where he will do anything he wants to become the world's most famous architect, and he is the kind of guy who's like extremely ambitious, and he is constantly worrying about no one else being better than him. Like the book is in third person. I don't know what it's called, but like the narrator can see into everyone's head, so you see his thoughts. All he thinks about is getting ahead in his career. And I don't know if I have this, but there's one part that I found really interesting, and that is, oh man, I don't think I have whatever I wrote about it. Yeah, but so I can't find it right now, but there's a part where he's like moving up the workplace ladder, career ladder, right? And the next step is Stengel. He wants to take like Stengel's place, I think. And it says like his mind like went to Stengel as it naturally did, all the time. Like, and it's like, instead, like, the way a person would think about, like, someone that they have a crush on or something, like, he's just constantly thinking about Stengel because that's the next, like, guy that he needs to, like, get with to, like, take his place and then move up even further. So it's kind of weird, but it kind of shows you all the sacrifices that he has to make for this. And he cares infinitely what other people think about him, and that is, I mean, it's to his detriment because he has to go around trying to please everyone, and it ends up where it looks like, I don't even know, right now in the movie, he's like, he was gonna marry this nice girl named Catherine, they were engaged, but now he wants to marry Dominique because well, for one thing, she's a lot prettier than Catherine, but also she is Franken's daughter, and Franken is like one of the other big guys he has to get with. So, and Franken like wants him to marry her, so it will help his career if he marries Dominique. And so now he's like engaged to Dominique and Catherine, so I don't even know. But like he will go to any extreme. He will do anything for his career, and it's just kind of sad because he doesn't really, he's just obsessed with it and he doesn't have anything else, and that is kind of interesting, I guess. I'm trying to think of any last things to say about it. Oh, the romances are really weird. I haven't read about the romances as much as I saw them in the movie, but it's just like, I think the movie was made in like the 40s, but it was supposed to take place in like the 20s. I don't know. And I think our English teacher said that maybe this is what moviegoers were into at the time, but it's just like really, really, really corny love story kind of stuff, where Howard Rourke and Dominique are like obsessed with each other, and then everyone's obsessed with Dominique because she's like really, really pretty, and then I don't even know, it's just a bunch of really corny stuff where it's like, I love you, Howard, and she like just learned what his first name is, and it's just like, I love you too, Dominique, and it's like, and then I don't even know, and then it's just weird stuff, like, I don't know, like, he'll like, Peter will like kiss Dominique and then go to Catherine's house and he'll be like, Catherine, I don't know, so it's just weird and like corny and annoying, and anyway, and I don't know, and it just has a bunch of like corny like plot twists, like Dominique really loves Howard, but she's married to someone else, and then that Howard ends up building their new house, and she's like, no, the architect can't be Howard Rourke. Oh no, it is like all this freaking stuff. Like, really? Okay, and anyway, and another thing that's interesting that I thought of is the character of Dominique and her life philosophy. It's interesting. It's very, but it's again, it's not unique. It's very Buddhist. She does not want, it's like Buddhist mixed with misanthropy. That's the right word, right? Like hatred for human beings, which those two are not usually together, but it's like a misanthropic kind of Buddhism. She doesn't want, Buddhism, second noble truth, suffering is caused by desire. She doesn't want to desire anything. That's why, even though she's in love with Rourke, she marries this other guy who she doesn't like. She doesn't love him. Even though they've been married for a while, she doesn't love him because she doesn't want to have Howard because she wants him so much. She, like, finds a statue that she actually likes, which is, like, the only thing she actually likes, and she, like, throws it out the window, which actually I think part of the reason she wants to throw it out the window is she doesn't want any of the shallow other people of the world to see it. She's very, like, narcissistic, and she's like, how do you stand to be around all these people who go to the vaudeville for entertainment and see those silly movies for entertainment? And like, so she thinks she's so much better than everyone else, but it's somewhat interesting, but again, it's somewhat tired. We know what these ideas are, and I don't know if she's the best vehicle for them, because again, it's kind of combining some good ideas with some bad ideas into just, I don't know what Dominique Franken is, but yeah, she doesn't want to, like, desire anything, and that's why, like, she doesn't want to work for someone. I can't remember. She doesn't want to work for them because she wants to work for them, or she refuses to work for them because she wants to work for them so much, and she doesn't want to have a job she likes because then it can be taken away, and then she'll be sad. Okay, that is, like,